Today, the girl suddenly told her husband to take the dog to relieve itself in front of her lover's house. She hurriedly took off her boots and changed into sandals to leave outside. Then stepped inside. As soon as she reached the living room, she took off her robe and threw it to the floor, revealing a figure more refined than a beauty queen who had just done something yesterday. But she still seemed sweaty. The couple clung to each other, relearning how to spell. The old neighbor happened to notice from outside and felt annoyed. His name was Mayon, currently running a bakery in a small village in France. Mayon had come here 7 years ago. Before he passed away, he inherited the bakery and maintained it until now. Mayon was a quiet, reserved man. Today, while baking a batch of dark bread, it was a rare moment that Mayon actively shared his thoughts with his wife about the neighbor Charlie. Mayon thought he shouldn't commit suicide just because he was cheated on. Such things are fleeting. Parents are eternal. What you can lift, you can also throw down. That's what makes a real man. Hearing her husband speak boastfully, she lightly scolded him. Don't talk nonsense. Parents are with the elders. That's all. Eternal, she said. Mayon immediately fell silent. On the way, he stopped by neighbor Charlie's house. Charlie was angrily burning all his wife's belongings. Mayon lingered to see if he could find anything and accidentally noticed Gemma's diary in a box. He hurriedly put it into his coat and took it home. As he read, memories flooded back. Mayon remembered clearly the day the young couple moved to the village. They left the bustling city, seeking a peaceful and happy life here. Gemma, with her friendly rural personality, proactively introduced herself and warmly welcomed the new neighbors. A few days later, Gemma and Charlie came to the bakery to buy bread. Mayon stared at Gemma without blinking, seeing a strange beauty in her. On the way home, in the windy countryside, Mayon, walking with his dog, accidentally met Gemma. She was holding a colorful bouquet, but the old man only paid attention to her beauty. That evening, Charlie came to Mayon's house, saying the electricity was out and asking him to fix it. Mayon checked and found the circuit had tripped. He flipped the switch, and the room lit up. Charlie thanked him, then went inside to get wine. Before opening it, Mayon's wife also came over. The four of them started talking while drinking. After a while, the old man's eyes kept drifting to Gemma. Where does such beauty come from? My goodness, she looks like she stepped out of a novel. After that night, Mayon often gazed dreamily out the window toward the neighbor's house. A few days later, Gemma came back to Mayon's bakery. With his wife absent, he bragged a bit about his baking skills, claiming they were the best in the countryside. Gemma was very impressed. She asked him if he could teach her a few tricks. He agreed and led her into a room with plenty of flour, showing her how to knead the dough while continuously complimenting her. Then he asked Gemma how she felt. She replied she enjoyed it, feeling relaxed, almost like doing yoga. Mayon quickly said he practiced every morning, though it made him feel hot all over. Hearing that, Gemma immediately felt warm, pushed her hair back, and removed some outer clothing. At this moment, Mayon could no longer control his emotions, standing silently, staring at the neighbor from head to toe. A few days later, Mayon and his wife held a small party, inviting Charlie's family and a few friends for lunch. While touring the village, Gemma received advice from her friend that a girl should be beautiful, and the best way to maintain her figure was through exercise and diet. Gemma found it reasonable and followed it. The next day, she went jogging and exercising for hours. Mayon met Gemma on the village road and asked why she hadn't come to buy bread. She said she was dieting, so she only had a light dinner with a banana and a potato. Suddenly, a bee flew into Gemma's dress. Panicked, she called Mayon for help. He quickly zipped her dress and, after a short search, caught the insect and threw it away. It's a hornet, and it needs to suck blood immediately to prevent venom from spreading, he warned. Gemma, frightened, nodded and urged him to act quickly. As Mayon was handling it, a young man ran over asking what was happening. Flustered, Mayon explained. Suddenly, Gemma collapsed, and they quickly took her to the hospital. After first aid, the doctor injected her thigh. Since it was not serious, he let the family take her home. Gemma still felt weak and repeatedly rested her head on Mayon's shoulder. This made Mayon very happy, feeling that the neighbor was starting to like him. But the next day, when Mayon was out making cigarettes, he saw Gemma meeting the young man. Judging by their friendly conversation, he knew he had to watch out for a competitor. While thinking, his wife called out, "What are you spacing out about, old man?" Mayon shook his head and silently went back to bake the rest of the bread. Gemma's mood had been good these days. She listened to music while painting and moving her hips. Charlie gently hugged his wife, asking Gemma to help buy some wine. On the way, she accidentally met Hark, who kindly helped her select bright yellow paint. Mayon, after delivering bread to customers, returned home to see Gemma's car parked out front. She looked like a teenage girl in love, swaying and humming affectionately. Mayon raised his hand to greet her, but Gemma was too absorbed to notice. His face immediately wrinkled like an old tire. He followed her with his eyes in the rearview mirror. Suddenly, Gemma turned into the road leading to the young man's house. Mayon braked abruptly, turned toward the door, and quietly watched Gemma toward the room, read books, and talk with Hark about a romance novel. Outside, Mayon wondered to his dog what they were doing, as they seemed to take forever. The dog barked, acting clueless, but Mayon still cared, realizing he had to leave before anyone noticed him. Mayon started the car. That evening, at Gemma's house, he had dinner and noticed signs of sexual violence left on her neck. Mayon understood that something shady had happened. Feeling awful, he left the table, wishing he could have taken the place of that young man. Then Mayon thought he was responsible for everything that had happened because Gemma and Hark would not have met if he hadn't orchestrated the bloodsucking to extract poison. The next day, Mayon met Hark at the gathering spot. Seeing the young man tense, he asked him how he was doing. Hark said he couldn't focus on studying, his mind was always wandering. Mayon advised him to call his girlfriend and have some intimacy to relieve stress. Sure enough, later, he saw Gemma walking her dog. She went to Hark's house to help him with his concentration issues. The whole day, Mayon could only think about Gemma with a very sad mood. One day, Gemma cheerfully entered the bakery and revealed that her husband had gone to London on a business trip for a few days. She had bought 2 items but left one behind. Mayon carefully wrapped it and brought it back. Just as he reached the door, he heard strange sounds inside. Hark was happily spending time with Gemma. Mayon quietly approached the window and stood silently, listening to them confess their love. This made him extremely angry. At 2 a.m., he was still awake, sitting in a corner of the kitchen, tearing a loaf of bread apart. A few days later at noon, Gemma pretended to take the dog for a walk and arrived at Hark's house. She changed from sandals into boots, removed her robe, revealing her hot figure, and posed as if inviting him to eat. While Mayon was busily working, Gemma accidentally dropped a black statue. She panicked because it was very valuable, recently bought by her mother. Gemma reassured him she would take it home for her husband to fix. As Charlie was well known in the ceramics artisan circle, Hark wrapped the broken pieces and returned them to Gemma, escorting her to the gate. They had planned to go to London together, but the plan suddenly changed when Gemma found a letter from Hark addressed to her. She panicked and went to the garden to call, but there was no signal. Charlie and Mayon noticed the suspicious behavior. Hark's parents returned home and didn't see the precious statue, so they questioned their son. Hark said there was a small scratch on it, so several neighbors helped repair it. On her way to Hark's house, Gemma received a message from him apologizing that he couldn't go to London with her. She felt extremely sad, tears streaming down her face as she went home. Hark's mother asked Charlie about the statue, but he shook his head, claiming he didn't know. She was furious and stormed out. That evening, Charlie asked his wife about the statue. Gemma was startled and said she didn't know anything. Charlie partially guessed the situation, since Gemma hadn't paid attention to her own belongings for days. Clearly, despite having a wife, he still had to handle things himself. Annoyed, he muttered a few words to his father, then went inside to pack and leave. Gemma wanted to confess to her husband but didn't dare, tears welling in her eyes. The next day, while Mayon was taking a walk, he saw Gemma's dog playing near a bush. He picked it up, carried it to Gemma's house, and returned it to her. She thanked him, invited him in for hot tea, and handed him a letter written in French to read and translate. It was from Hark's mother, asking Charlie about her statue. After reading, Gemma asked Mayon to reply on her behalf. While pouring tea, Mayon's eyes fell on her large, full breasts. In the middle of writing, a mouse suddenly ran across. Gemma screamed, startling him. Mayon chased the mouse with a stick, hitting it repeatedly. Despite his efforts, Gemma did not show gratitude, making Mayon angry and vowed to finish the letter later. Gemma's friend arrived, bringing a man named Patrick, coincidentally her ex-lover. She immediately went to her painting room without speaking, but Patrick followed, reminiscing about their passionate past. Mayon went to a church to calm his mind but couldn't stop thinking about Gemma. On the way back, he saw her car emitting smoke. Stepping out, he noticed a man with her. He glimpsed at the man's hands exploring her long legs. After the incident, Gemma and Patrick went to a restaurant for a meal. That was when Gemma realized she had made a mistake and told her ex-lover to forget everything because she still had feelings for Charlie. Back home, she sent a voice message to her husband, actively reconciling, saying she couldn't live without him. Charlie was deeply moved and decided to forgive everything and return home. Gemma asked Mayon to finish writing the letter to resolve everything, but Mayon revealed that he had sent the letter himself, not Hark's mother. Gemma was shocked and almost fainted, questioning why he had done that. Mayon admitted he knew everything and sent the letter to make Gemma reflect on her behavior, thinking it was for her own good. Gemma, not angry, gave Mayon a kiss. Ecstatic, Mayon went to his bakery, carefully kneaded the dough, baked a perfect loaf, and left it at the neighbor's door. Patrick came to Gemma's house to rekindle intimacy, but at that moment, Charlie returned by taxi. Mayon, feeding the chickens, saw Charlie rush over in panic asking for help. When he arrived, Gemma was lying dead on the floor. The police examined the scene and concluded it was an accident. Gemma had suffocated due to inhaling flour while baking. The next day, Mayon attended the funeral of the young woman with a tragic fate. Charlie told him that Patrick caused her death, as he had seen him hugging her from behind and pushing with force. Furious, Charlie dragged Patrick outside and punched him until his face was battered. Patrick explained that while Gemma had choked on a piece of bread, he had hugged her to aid her. but Charlie misunderstood. They fought, ignoring Gemma, which caused her suffocation. The flashback ends as Mayon's son arrived to inform him that a Russian couple had just moved to the village. Mayon put on his coat and greeted them. That marked the end of the film. Today's video ends here. See you in the next video. And don't forget to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, everyone.